Right, this is the Bonobo experience report. What I've been doing. So, last week I had a meeting with Mary and we have developed the mailing list to, it's nearly 100 now, so we're going to send out our first mailing list newsletter, which is going to list what we've done over the last year, things that we're going to do this year, and mainly focusing on the retreat. So that's been really interesting to be able to work with her on this. So we developed that and then we handed it over to Maven, and Maven's going to look at it and sort of add his flair to it, because we're both dyslexic, so it's been really good to be able to share that. And one of the things that I've really got from this is that now Mary and Maven have begun to communicate, and I'm not necessarily involved in that communication, and that's really important for me to see that other people are taking this on and are working together, and I'm not necessarily having to be in the middle of it all the time. That's really important. What else happened? We went to Suffolk, so I went to Maven's, and we did the hand signal gesturing game that I learnt at the LARPing festival 2 years ago. It's called Sign, and it's based around developing sign language amongst people. So we've adapted it for the Bonobo experience, and we can really see that it will function really well as a way to enable people to communicate non-verbally and to begin to develop their own unique language. So that happens within retreats and workshops. For retreats, we're thinking that the best thing to do is to have like class and then recess, so playtime and then learning, and then maybe a sharing and seeing what comes from that. So that's been really effective. We're really happy that that's going to be implemented into the Bonobo experience. The presentation went really well. So for the unit 2 of my master's degree, I presented the Bonobo experience and an up-to-date version of where I am with it regarding data analysis and collecting of interviews and questionnaires. So I delivered my presentation, went really well. I got some really great feedback. A really interesting piece of feedback was Elizabeth thought that the sample was too small because it was mainly sort of white gay men, and I explained to her that we also work in the psychedelic arena, which is not specific to LGBT people, and Explore, which is predominantly heterosexual space, and that she just saw some of the feedback videos from a specific sample, but it's wider than that. And another thing that was really important was Paul mentioned the idea of aftercare and what's the long-term benefits of doing the Bonobo experience, and that leads me on to talking about process and having enough process time between modules when we do the Bonobo experience retreats, because some of the feedback that we've had is that people aren't getting enough time to really process what's happened before moving on to something else. So a longer retreat, more than 2 days, maybe 4 or 5 days, would allow us to have a workshop about the previous module and really kind of begin to see what's being unpacked, and then once we've done that we can move on. So maybe there's a possibility of people documenting what's happening for them through art or journaling or even video like this. So it's been a really great week. Things to do now, I think. I've spoken to Mark at the Remakery, which is my art studio, and he's interested in helping us develop a promo animation. So I've spoken to ODGE, who's an illustrator, who's done some fantastic work that I really respect. They're going to work in collaboration with each other to provide an animation for a promotional video for the Bonobo experience. And one final thing is Sasha, who is a film producer and a director. He is one of the lecturers on the MA course, and I spoke to him, and he's really keen to help us do a promotional video. So what it's like to be in the Bonobo experience. So my job now is to look at different methods in which people have promoted certain things similar to this, like the Psychedelic Society have done a really great promotional video. So come September, hopefully we'll be able to work together and develop that. So things are really starting to evolve now, and I recognise that it's becoming a much more tangible entity. However, I must focus now on loneliness and belonging research. I've discovered some loneliness and belonging research from the BBC that talks about young people that are struggling with loneliness and isolation. So I'm going to research into that and draw upon that and see what that gives me. Also, I've got various other papers that I want to look at from ResearchGate, which is an online kind of, it's where researchers, people doing PhDs, submit their findings. So along with the loneliness, I'm going to look more at bonobo stuff too. So all in all, I think I've encapsulated what's happened over the last couple of weeks, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you.